All right, it's shaky camera time doing another Nakamichi repair. This time it's the MB-3 CD player, the Music Bank system. MB-3, MB stands for Music Bank. Nakamichi stands for quality, except when they break. However, this one has some very common CD errors, or CD failures that are really, really common of this era. This is a 1993, I believe, originally, CD player. It's a very hi-fi, kick-ass CD player. I like it. But all the CD players from this era, which, by the way, have Sony lasers, are known to have all sorts of problems. They have a bunch of Sony chips as well. And it's just, you know, emerging technology that still had issues. The big one is there's basically two main issues you're going to find. One is timing belts. The rubber from the belt decays with oxidation and age. You just have to replace it, just like a car. You have to replace it every once in a while. With a car, you know, every 100,000 miles, you got to replace the timing belt. Same thing with a CD player, with an old CD player. The other issue that you have is the laser just wears out. Laser gets old, the diode for the laser gets old, and wears out. Fortunately, these lasers are very cheap, inexpensive. They're actually the exact same laser used in a Sega CD Model 2, from what I understand, which I believe is quite cool. And I'll flash a light on there. It is... Oh boy, camera's going to go out of focus here. Let's see if we can what we can do about it. It's the KSS. Come on. There it goes. KSS 210A. Now, you know, nothing wrong with the laser when it's functioning. It's just old. Also, of course, these aren't happy with vibration or scratched or dirty discs. A little less tolerant of that than maybe newer lasers. So, yeah, replacing the laser shouldn't be too much of a hassle. You've got your regular guiding pole here that you have to unscrew. And hopefully it's not too hard. There's another screw down there as well, so you probably have to undo those two screws. I'll mess with that later. But the main thing I wanted to get to is the timing belts, because I have to order those, and I don't know the part number yet. So I'm going to have to measure the length, since I couldn't find like that kind of spec. Probably not going to find that kind of spec in the service manual. So I took out this guy, and to do so, there's one screw there, two screws there, and then the real tricky one, there's one other screw in the back, and there's another screw in the back that you have to come in through the opening here, and that's why I took out this guy and kind of angled him outwards. Two screws for the transformer, two screws for the case for the transformer. That's simple enough. Now, I could just cut zip ties and get this whole harness undone, but I actually kind of managed to dangle it around so I could get a clear shot of the belt, which you can see is this guy right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out, hopefully without having to do a bunch more work. And then the other belt that is more than likely the cause of the tray loading getting stuck issue, if you can see it, is right down into there. You can see just a little bit of it there going around the edge of the motor here, this motor. So those are the two belts that this thing has. As far as I can tell, there's no other belts. There is this cool like tension rod thing, but that's not going to wear out. That I think is for, I'm not sure what that's for, but yeah, I mean that's the motor that drives everything. So maybe it's another gear pulley system that comes from the motor. But yeah, the other thing you can do, folks, it's kind of a cool trick, is if you ever have a system where you've replaced the belts and it's still giving you some sluggishness, you can look into the MOSFET circuit that drives the motor. And a really cool trick is you can replace the MOSFET with one that has a lower RDS on, which is an on resistance of the MOSFET. All of them have it. The older ones are going to have a higher on resistance. That'll give you a little bit of extra power to the motor. Most of these motors are 6-volt motors operating at 5 volts or 3.3. So that's a little trick. I'll go into more of that detail in a future detailed video. Also, it's going to be worthwhile to change this battery. Anytime you see a battery in a system that's old, you got to get rid of it. Not sure why there's a battery there either. Maybe for when you cut power, it remembers what CD you were on. Maybe I'll find out more if I read the manual, which I do have, by the way. Bam! Original manual. So, yeah, pretty stoked about this. Getting this all working. I did play it a little bit, and it sounds wonderful. And yeah, pretty cool system. Oh, just a quick overview of the chips here. We got Sony chip. And we've got these two Nakamichi branded, more than likely just the microcontrollers, but they could be doing some DAC stuff. Pretty damn cool. And then we've got this awesome labeled PCM chip over there. And I've got a Sharp chip doing some of the op amp, probably an op amp stage type deal. Anyway, real nice stuff. Look, I mean, it just looks nice. So yeah, definitely worth my time. More to come.